I will unpause. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. Let me see if I can increase.
How's everybody doing?
Doing very good.
Excellent.
Very good.
Would you like a donut? I've got extra donuts here.
That would be awesome. Unfortunately, yeah, virtual donuts just don't do it for me.
Yeah.
It's got to be the real deal. It's got to be the real deal.
We're having one of my technicians. That's his name is Amin. He's a little late this morning. I just texted him asking him if he was going to make it. And the jury's out yet whether or not he even got my message because he hasn't responded.
Got it. And who else? Who else is with us? I'm obviously I see Kyle.
Yes, this is Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So, Jerry, how long have you been on board with the fine folks at Pedego, Boca, Raton?
About 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
All right. And your role, is it going to be sales, tours, service?
Diamond setting.
I'm sorry?
Diamond setting.
Diamond setting. Perfect. So how did you get connected with these two guys?
On a employment website.
Excellent. And I take, are you a native to the area, or where are you from originally?
New England.
I'm sorry?
New Hampshire.
Okay. Excellent. Right on. And I'm just curious, Jerry, there's some people that come from the bicycle industry and some people are brand new to the bike business. How about yourself? Is this fresh for you, or have you been in the bike industry before?
It's fresh for me. My background is I had a very fine jewelry store in New Hampshire.
Okay, so when you said diamond setting, you weren't kidding.
No, I wasn't.
Right on.
I had 16 employees, of which 14 were sales,
Yes.
and was very heavily involved in sales training,
Excellent.
employee development, and
I'm glad to hear it.
and also dealt with a very technical aspect of the business as it relates to making jewelry, repairing jewelry. Everything that the jewelry industry is no different than what this industry is.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, and I'm glad to hear that you were into personal and professional development, because even when we were done this, sales training should be ongoing. I mean, so a lot of the stuff that you and I and the rest of us are going to be discussing over the next, couple of hours and for the future sessions as well. Some of it's going to be, hey, you know what? I'm aware of this, and it's going to be good reminders. And then some other pieces that are tactical are going to be, this is good. These are good questions. These are going to be pieces of the puzzle that I'm going to be able to put together. And so, yeah, it's great, because I mean, I'm a big believer in it's like the Japanese approach, the Kaizen method. It's continual, never-ending improvement, and that's
No question about it. The whole essence of sales and people is peeling an onion, is basically what it is.
Yeah.
And there isn't any one right way for every customer.
Correct.
So determining the customer's wants and needs determines what tools you're going to use in your shed to implement in that process.
Absolutely. So it leads, I'm going to just jump right in, guys. It leads me to question number one. And I'll start with Grego and Kyle, but Jerry, I do want you to chime in. And
I'm going to rig the video the audio so that it'll come up. We're listening off my laptop right now.
yeah.
So Kyle's trying to rig it so that it'll actually project onto a television. I've got a large screen TV here, so you think we're looking at you on a little computer. Actually, you're bigger than life right now. So
that's what my wife tells me.
larger than life, Joe. I know that's how you like it. When's
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Of course, you know, it's the old story of I'm a legend in my own mind.
Yes.
It's all right.
Is this a separate display?
That's what I was trying.
Let's try some. 1 second. Oh.
I don't think he'll come up on the audio though.
Okay. You won't come up on the audio. There's got to be a way to project that. No. Go back to stop video, participant share video. We could record, right? Or not?
I'm recording this for you guys.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we're recording right now.
Perfect.
You'll be getting copies. Yeah, so we'll have the beginning of this video is Kyle's head. It's like this big. Yeah, looking good, man.
Did he brush his teeth?
Yeah.
You just
Do I have anything in my teeth?
That's it.
I think you can blow your nose, probably. I don't know. Let's see now. Here, try it. Oh, select a speaker. Oh, go up. There, click that. Aha! We're in. Joe, sing to me.
Sing to you?
Yeah.
Everybody to sing.
We got you.
All right, excellent.
Mobetta. Huh. That's an inner city thing. It's bike slang.
Okay.
Oh.
So guys, you know, as we get into this, and it's I think it's great that Jerry's on board here, because one of the things that you're going to hear me say repetitively as I've done this, I couldn't tell you how many times I've done Army of One in my career. Take my information like spare ribs. You're going to keep the meat and you're going to throw away the bone. One of my mentors has said this to me in the past, and it's stuck. And you're going to be able to see that there's going to be portions of this that you'll definitely go, yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to use. And there's going to be times where I'm a big believer and I want to push you out of your comfort zone. And for some people, it's just not going to happen. They're not going to want to stretch that far out of the comfort zone. But the thing is when you stretch out of your comfort zone, you'll be able to actually do more for your clients. And you will make more money when you're stretching outside of your comfort zone. And then that new space that you've created gets wider. And so, we'll discuss that a little bit later. But again, take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat, throw away the bone. I always start with the why question, and it's funny. One of my favorite books over the last few years is Simon Sinek's Start with Why. And once you have a powerful why, the rest of it will cascade. It'll just fall into place. So I'm going to start off going for my left to going with Grego. Just if you don't mind sharing, what's the why behind where you are in this business right now? You're in this retail space filled with bikes, ready to rock and roll in Boca Raton. I know a little bit of the story, but with the background in terms of being in the airline industry. But go ahead and if you just give me a couple of point forms, why are you doing this now?
Oh, that's a good question. I just retired September 1st.
Yeah.
And through my son, I saw an opportunity to get involved in an industry that I think is growing. But the most important thing really is I wanted to do something that had a great deal of self-satisfaction. Would I say that money motivates me? The answer is I think money motivates anybody.
Sure.
But that's not the primary reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying the fact that it's a father-son, I guess, adventure.
Yeah, I like that.
For me, and the reason why I was as successful as I was at Delta Airlines was I liked working with customers, and I liked working with my crews. And so for that reason, I was you know, they always gave me a lot of latitude because of my interaction with the passengers. And for me, to get to a bike industry that helps others stay healthy and fit, and puts a smile on their face, if at all possible. This is a product that does exactly that, I believe. And it's a product also, Pedego electric bikes, where I can look someone in the eye and say, hey, this is a really good bike. In my opinion, it's the best bike in the industry. And the quality's there, and we're gonna make sure that you're happy when you leave our store and you come back, that we'll always take care of you.
Excellent. That's great.
I could go on and on and on. There's more than one.
Sure. There's multiple whys. I mean, you know, I just as an aside, and just so before I get to Kyle and to Jerry, I mean, you know, I have several whys in terms of why I do what I do. You know, one of them is I love to help people get better at the work that they do. I just love to mentor people. I love it. Yeah. Another why is I want to be able to inspire people to live a better quality of life through the benefits of total health and exercise. In fact, that's actually written right there on my vision board right there. My mission is I inspire and empower people to choose to live a better quality of life through the benefits of total health and exercise. And then I've got things up there on the vision board that I want to have for my family, right? So we're currently building a new home on our lake property, and that's part of the why is like we don't have any grandchildren yet, but all our kids are in their 20s, so we know that the future we're going to have grandkids, and this is going to be a space where our grandkids are going to come and so that's a powerful why for me, that I'm happy to wake up at 5 a.m. and focus on my plan, and why I've hired, you know, different coaches in my career. And so those are, these whys are powerful, you know. And Grego, for you, it's an opportunity. It's an adventure. There's an opportunity for growth. It's a great brand. You get to work with family. You get to work with Kyle. You're helping people. And, you know, there's a level of happiness. How about you, Kyle?
Absolutely. So initially I got into the e-bike industry because I really wanted to dive into the technology of it, the electric motors and the batteries.
Yeah.
You know, I see that as the future of every industry, not just, you know, transportation. So that was what initially drew me into it. And then when I started getting going, you know, it's really nice to improve someone's lifestyle, like you were saying, you know.
Yeah.
Is a great way for people to get outside and exercise. It draws them back towards biking, which is really amazing. And why I love being in Boca Raton and why I really want to have this sort of success is because we're going to build a large community here. You know, we're going to have that camaraderie with our customers of that lifestyle and changing us for the future, because this is the future of transportation.
Yes.
Being more of a personalized transport, because most people don't work outside of 10 miles of their house, you know.
Right.
Having that short distance and with everyone kind of going the green route, this is a great way for them to, you know, pursue that option.
Love it. It's green, which I will write in green. Excellent. How about you, Jerry?
In the beginning of moving down here with my wife after I retired,
Yeah.
after 5 days of retirement, my wife and I said, hey, my wife was involved in corporate, Bed Bath & Beyond as a corporate trainer.
Yeah, okay.
In the very beginning, I worked in the computer industries. I was in the Air Force and got involved in the jewelry industry from 1980 to 2015.
Good for you.
Unlike Grego, in terms of why did I get into the jewelry business, my motivation was I feel that I could do it better and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, what do you have to offer? Now, I don't have a patent on diamonds. I don't have a patent on jewelry. I don't have a patent on rubies, emeralds, sapphires, or any gemstone of the world. What I do offer is a myriad of solutions for the customer. And that's the key thing. If there isn't a need, you're going to be unsuccessful no matter how good you are in understanding dynamics of electricity. So when I first met with Grego and Kyle, I did some homework prior to that meeting to see what the industry looks like. I have a perspective to globally look at something and then finally bring it all the way down to here.
Right.
And between 2020 and 2023, there will be 130 million e-bikes sold in the world. It's a huge industry of which only a sliver has been identified in
Correct.
this country.
Correct.
Okay. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, as in the case of Kyle and Greg or any of the dealers. You just have to do it better. And not all Pedego dealers are going to be good at it.
I agree.
Because creating is the easiest thing in the world. Maintaining a high level of service, because that's the one thing that a lot of brick and mortar stores have figured out by bankruptcy, that they lacked in the area of service. And that's the single one thing that has caused brick and mortar to go away.
Yeah.
Corporate America forgot that service, talking face to face with someone about their needs, is going to separate you right off the bat from the internet. So as far as I'm concerned, the internet is not even a challenge for me in dealing with customers as it relates to this product, because we offer something that the internet does not offer. And that is the very first thing that I want to show customers when they walk in this store, is that service center.
Yeah.
Because long after the sale, above and beyond the product being outstanding as it relates to other competitors, the warranty is second to none in the business. But what's really important is that once the customer understands the value that you have to offer, because value is not how much you pay for something, value is what you get for what you pay.
That's a Warren Buffett saying. I agree, 100%.
So, notwithstanding that, we can save customers headaches, which is important, very important. To a lot of people, they just don't want to deal with problems. And we are the solution to that as it relates to service on their bike, as well as warranty service, which can save them thousands of dollars.
Excellent.
So if there's a need, when a customer walks in that door, they're not looking for a mattress and they're not looking for a cupcake. They're
Right.
looking for a solution to what they perceive their problem is. And understanding people, they only are looking for what they think exists. And what we are is a window to most options out there that we can address as it relates to bike sales.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jerry. So I want to reel you back in a little bit, and just for you, what is your why? Why do you choose to work in this environment specifically? Like, is there an emotional space that you're coming from? I mean, I know you've got retail experience. I mean, when you've hopped on a Pedego electric bike, what was your reaction?
My reaction was the same as a bicycle, except on steroids, so to speak. It's a wonderful feeling of freedom.
Gotcha.
It's a feeling that I understand that 35% of all the trips that people make in their car are within 2 miles of their home. I look at it as a solution. I look at it as fun while you're solving that.
Thank you. You just said the magic word. This is a why. This is powerful. You want to do something that's fun. That's why.
That fun is the same fun as when you were a little kid and you went on your first bike ride without dad or mom holding the back of your seat. You felt free, you felt mobile, you felt independent, and you're not damaging the environment in the process.
So we have a new person here.
Yes, may I
Yes.
start with an introduction? Joe, Joe, may I embarrass him because he is late, and there's lessons in life to learn. Amin is late to this meeting, but he is a great guy. And I tell you, we think the world of him, and I tried to adopt him twice. I don't know if you've talked to your parents yet. But anyways, he's just a great young man, and we're so happy to have both Jerry and Amin with us on this voyage of fun. But I'll let Amin go from here. And Joe was asking about why. Why do you think electric bikes? And tell him about your the bike that you built.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we start with this? What's your connection to Grego and Kyle, and how did you get connected to Pedego Boca Raton?
So I built motorized bicycles, gas powered. Yeah, gas powered.
Okay.
And it was too expensive for me to build electric bikes.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is a great opportunity to learn and do it.
All right. And so how long have you been on board with the guys now?
I would say about 2-3 weeks.
All right. And so what led you to, for you, if you were to say, hey, Joe, here's why I'm working with Pedego, Boca, Raton, what would be the why behind it?
The why behind it is it's helping others.
All right.
Yeah. Helping others in having a good day.
May I mean, English is a second language, and so sometimes it's phrasing. I would say he was looking for passion because I stole him from FedEx. He was a driver at FedEx, weren't you?
Oh, that's
He
good.
was a driver at FedEx, and he didn't enjoy what he was doing that much. And he wanted to do something, even though it was compensated less, that was more fun and interesting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
These are all of these are reasons that are emotional drivers for us, right? For you specifically in this context, you know, what drives you to get out, you know, and in some cases it's what drives you to get up in the morning and get out of bed. I mean, you have somebody like Jerry, for example, who, you know, he's already run businesses. He's had a team of people. Why are you there? I'm having fun, man. I want to be able to impact people's lives and have a lot of fun doing it. And if there's an opportunity for me to be able to be profitable in the process, that is the ultimate win-win. But it has to start here, because otherwise, none of this, the rest of the stuff that we're going to talk about doesn't matter. Because if it was just about money, that gets old, and your prospects will see right through it. They will see right through it. So when I hear all of you, and I love sharing this, and it's great that Grego and Kyle, you shared, you know, as the leadership of this fledgling company, which is Pedego, Boca, Raton, which there's so much opportunity for growth. It's awesome. And guys, I'll just tell you a little bit of my background. You know, I've been involved in sales training for over 20 years, and I've had my own I started off in the specialty exercise equipment industry at the age of 18. By the age of 20, I opened up my very first exercise equipment retail store. By the age of 25, I did a merger with a company. I'm based out of Winnipeg, Canada, and I'm still here. I did a merger with a company called Fitness Depot. We were store number 7. Within 18 months, we had 38 locations across Canada. You don't scale that quickly without having systems in place and understanding the process of sales training, hiring, and obviously, you know, 94% of business failure is system failure, and that is right out of the mouth of Michael Gerber, the writer of The E-Myth. And if you haven't read that book, it's a Bible, but it's fantastic. And then I sold the shares of my stores, and I worked on the manufacturing side of the fitness equipment retail business. And what was interesting was every manufacturer as a rep that I worked for had a connection to the bicycle industry. So Bodyguard Fitness, I was their Canadian sales manager. They were also the owners of Rocky Mountain Bicycle. After 5 years working with them, I resigned because they changed my commission structure 4 out of the 5 years, saying, Joe, you just can't make that kind of money. And you know, I think we can all agree, if you have somebody who's crushing it for you, you should pay them well. I mean, it's just the way it should work. So then when I resigned from Bodyguard, I got headhunted by a company that you guys might know called Trek Bicycle. You might have heard that brand. So that tongue in cheek. So Trek had a fitness division called Vision Fitness, and I worked for them. And I worked for them for 5 years. And over that time frame, I was doing Canadian sales for them, but I also had the opportunity to do special projects in the U.S. And then they were flying me to Europe and into Asia to do international sales training. And that's when I started doing sales training on a regular basis. Towards the end of my time at Vision, I ended up writing a book that's called Boutique Thinking in a Big Box World. So, Jerry, I mean, I think you and I are kindred spirits here. In fact, I still have the book. Still, it's not in print anymore, but it's available print on demand, so you can still buy it like from 2,000 different websites. I still get checks in the mail from this. It's hysterical. But so once the book got written, I started doing more of this, obviously live and in person. And then what was interesting was there was a bicycle and fitness company from Spain back in 2010, actually 2009. They hired me to do sales training for their outside reps. And then the president of BH, Vestigio Hermanos North America, said, hey, Joe, I want you to come to the back here into the warehouse. I want you to try something. And it was an electric bike. And I rode 30 yards and I stopped and I was like, are you kidding me? Now, again, this is 11 years ago. And 11 years ago in North America, there were only 5 brands of electric bikes. And I got asked by the president of BH North America, would you like to be one of our first employees for this new division we're going to be calling Easy Motion Electric Bikes by BH? And I did some research, did the 30,000 foot view, and I said to myself, this thing's going to be so huge. And if I hop on board now, I'll be ahead of the game. And so several years later, I got headhunted by none other than Don DiCostanzo from Pedego, and he said, we'd love for you to be our corporate trainer. And so his old business partner and I had an opportunity to allow me to remove myself as an employee, because I worked for Pedego for just a few months, and now as an independent contractor, it allows me to expand outside of the Pedego ecosystem and outside of the bike industry, because I've got other business interests. So it works out really well. And so that just gives you an idea. I mean, I think about it, guys. When I started off, there were 5 brands in North America. Never mind, in Europe, there were already hundreds. But you go back to which brands are left of the original 5, and there's only 2. Right? BH Easy Motion decided to go back to Europe. Stromer is barely around, and so I won't count them. The Curry brand is around, Curry Tech, which is iZip, for example. Pedego is still, the #1 recognized brand in the business, and Emoto's out of business. Since then, there are literally over 200 brands available in North America for electric bikes today, and growing. The challenge is that there's like well over 150 of them that are here today, gone tomorrow. Right? There's somebody who just goes and gets a container of bikes from Asia. They bring them in. They don't have parts. And so to Jerry's point, serving the community and being able to provide customer service and being able to help people, if you don't have parts and service, I mean, the jig is up. And this one of the things that are close to my heart is being a boutique in a big box world. And now the title of the book should be Boutique Thinking in an Internet World. And the key here is, how do we create and build value so that Mr. and Mrs. Target customer, who we're going to discuss in a moment, are compelled to buy from us. So it brings me to the next part, and it's just the power of belief. So we have a powerful why, and now it's just making sure that we understand, that I believe in what I'm selling. And it's a powerful word, and I just want to share with you guys a quick story about this. Because I actually visited another store, and I've stepped into over 120 Pedego locations since working with Pedego. I was before COVID. I mean, I was actually booked for 144 days of actual travel, to be in locations like yours. However, because of COVID, things have changed, so now we're doing it this way. But what I can tell you is, and I've visited over 1,000 different bike shops. And like what you said earlier, Jerry, I mean, whether it's fitness equipment or bicycles, or if it's diamonds, it's still about serving your client and be able to build that value proposition. I was in a store on the East Coast. I'll simply say it was yes, it was a Pedego store, and it was north of you. And that's all I'll say. I can't tell you how north, but I want to just share with you the power of your belief. I'm in this location. I had a meeting set up they said they forgot I was coming. So it just gives you an idea of how frazzled they were. During our meeting, which started exceptionally late, the phone rang. And this is the bizarre part. The store manager rolled their eyes and sighed and said, "Oh, I don't want to do this," as the phone rang, which to me is like bizarre, because anytime somebody walks in the door or if the phone rings, that is an opportunity to make a sale, right? And we'll discuss the metrics about this, but to me, if the phone rings, I measure it. You've got to measure your metrics. Like Peter Drucker said, if you can measure it, you can grow it. So anybody who walks in the door, there's two people, it's Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, click, click, count them. If the phone rings, count the calls. Because if you're not, and if you're not counting these things, like we figured out at Fitness Depot, every time the phone rang, it cost us $33. And I'll go into those metrics with you a little bit later. It won't be on this call today, but it'll be later. And there's a section that I call Give Good Phone, and we're going to discuss that. Needless to say, this manager at a Pedego location didn't want to answer the phone, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is your livelihood, right? Because the goal in my world is if somebody's calling the store, if I can't sell them on the phone, which, is the probability of closing somebody on a Pedego electric bike over the phone isn't super high. I understand that, because the goal is butts on bikes, which we're going to talk about BOBs, B-O-B, butts on bikes in a quick sec. They get off the phone, and it was a solicitation call. And I said, so, hey, manager of store, I don't want to give away whether it was male or female, so, hey, manager of store, I could tell that you didn't want to answer the phone. What's the deal? And they said, oh, this is a few years back, we've had nothing but problems with every Pedego that comes out of the box. And I'm like, I said, so, manager, are you capable of repairing any problems that you have? And they answered, oh yeah, we've got great people. Okay. I said, so, in your opinion, how responsive is Pedego corporate when it comes to being able to assess an issue and get you parts? Oh, they're unreal. I mean, I don't think there's anybody better, is how they answered. I'm like, okay, interesting. I said, so when was the last time you actually sold a bike? I was in the month of June. And they said 3 months. In June.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't sell bikes in April, May, June, it's not the bike. They just said they had the right people, they had the ability to fix it, and Pedego corporate was on fire with being able to, assess the problem and get them parts. And so it all came down to their belief. Rewind what I just said, and they said, we've had nothing but problems with every bike out of the box. Now, I can tell you, having worked with the fitness industry, and remember, I worked with Trek, I worked with BH, and now, with Rocky Mountain Bicycle division of their cycle group, every manufacturer has problems with product. It's going to happen. It's not the product's problem. The question is, do you have the ability to solve it? And they did. Their belief, their head game was so powerful that it stopped them from selling bikes, because they were afraid of getting people angry with them. Yeah, guys, like this is exceptionally important here. Your why is so powerful, and you already have, like, I just think of Kyle alone, the skill set that you have and your experience. I mean, a bike could come out of the box and it could have a terrible data cable. And by the way, the issue that they were having was a bad data cable back then. I mean, it's an easy fix. So if you, and to me, if a client calls you and they're pissed off, it's your opportunity to shine. Don't cower away from it. Believe in what you've got, because this is the power that you bring to the table. Jerry, you just said it. It's the service counter is what we have that the internet does not have. Right? I mean, because if it just comes down to price, we're not going to win that game. We are going to, you know what I mean? There's always something cheaper out there. Like, so I can tell you, after I left that store, they started cranking again. And it wasn't because of me. It was just a discussion that we had that proved the point that, hey, you know what? They have the skills and they believe in Pedego. And I just want to go, again, I don't work for Pedego. I'm a preferred vendor. In my experience, and I'm not blowing sunshine up anybody's butt here. I'm being brutally honest. Most companies, when they bring product in overseas, they will randomly select a box out of a 53-foot container and go, okay, we'll have a look at it. This was whether, and I mean, I've visited other manufacturers, whether it's Trek, Specialized. Again, I've worked on the manufacturing side. I've been to Asia. I've been in facilities. Pedego has people that build bikes, and they don't just build one out of a can. They build several. Their quality control from the manufacturing perspective, in my opinion, and again, it's just an opinion, it's nonetheless, based on my experience, it's the best I've ever seen. And I don't work for Pedego. Like, I can only say, guys, take my word for it. It's unbelievable. Believe in it. The bottom line, though, at the end of all of this quick diatribe on belief, is this. You guys have skill sets, all four of you, that will be able to absolutely crush your sales. Whether it's Kyle's experience with technology and bicycle industry experience, the passion that Grego you're bringing to the table because now this is an opportunity, and the fact that Amin, am I saying that correctly? Yes. Right. So Amin, you've obviously got bike experience, and now you're obviously you're surrounding yourself with a good group. And Jerry, I mean, you're a retailer extraordinaire in my mind. I mean, you don't have a retail business for 35 years if you don't know a thing or two about success. So I mean, this looks to me like a great team. I'm really excited to see where you guys can take this. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But the power of belief, gentlemen, and we will be reviewing some of this stuff in the weeks to come. So I just needed to share that story because it's to me, it's something that you just absolutely have to. So I want to ask you guys a quick question, and base this pre-COVID. Not just on because is obviously the store is soft opened now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're actually open. We don't have any signage up yet, but we are open. And we're launching a Google campaign this week.
Fantastic. So on a scale of 1 through 10, okay? You've been open, and this doesn't necessarily have to pertain to your location yet. On the first visit, how many people, and you know what, instead of 10, let's do it 100 to make it clear. On a scale of 1 to 100, out of 100 people that come and visit your location, how many people will actually buy on the first visit? There's no wrong answer, guys. Just tell me what you think.
20%.
5%.
What was your number, Kyle?
25%. Jerry said 5%. My dad said 20%.
15 to 20, yeah.
What'd you say?
I mean, what was that number?
About 10%.
10%. So, and your average invoice would be somewhere in the vicinity of around $4,000 by the time we add all the line items, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, after having visited just over 120 Pedego stores live and over 1,000 bike shops in my career thus far, Jerry gets the gold star. It's 5. No wrong answer here because COVID's changed things. But the average number of bikes sold, right, on the first visit is 5, which the telling story here is that means that we have 95 out of 100 after their first visit are walking. It's big. This is your opportunity. Obviously, there's 2 things that need to happen here. You need to, obviously improve your follow-up and then improve your skill set so that you can move this number forward. And the fact that we have numbers to be able to attribute to it is great because right now it's still early for you to build those metrics. So don't worry, guys. This is huge opportunity. Since COVID, for some people, their number, because of COVID, and they were going by appointment only, they were literally getting to that 80 percentile. That number's since dropped over the last few months because everybody that was coming in by appointment was either already well-versed, they've already done the research. And we're going to talk about handling objections in a future call because your 3 biggest objections that you're going to find in the Pedego ecosystem is price, which, price is the classic, right? So your product's too expensive. I want to go home and do some research. You'll hear that one, Kyle, right? Have you heard that one before in the e-bike?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to go home and do some research, which is part of my French guys is bullshit because what they really mean is I want to just go online and see if I can find it cheaper. And then another one, which is actually, it's not so much an objection as much as it's a ask to buy question. But this happens in the world of boutique, which is what you are. And it's, what kind of deal can you give me? And so we want to be able to put policies in place where you give the autonomy. If Grego and Kyle, you're not there, well then, Amin and Jerry can have the autonomy to make decisions without having to call you guys if it's a 4-bike deal and be able to, make a lot of profit while providing your prospects turned customers into an amazing Pedego Boca Raton experience. But here's the thing, and this is where tactical numbers are going to help. So on a scale of 1 out of 100, and this is the Bob question, okay? Bob meaning
May I stop you?
on bikes. I'm sorry?
Let me just interject here a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
With your other point is the reason why our numbers are so high at the 15-20% range is we don't have any signage. We have no internet presence. So anybody that seeks us out, they've sought us out. And
right.
So that's why they're an informed customer. That's why it's as high as it is. But under normal circumstances, yeah, I'm a total buy-in on that 5%. We're skewed high because of our situation at the moment.
Grego, I hope that you stay skewed high.
Me too. We're just not getting people in the door. Our batting average is really high. It's just the number of times at the plate.
And so the idea behind Army of One in concept is, and we'll get into this as, again, we're going through pieces of the puzzle here, but the goal is how does one person, when the store is, you're alone in the store and then all of a sudden you get multiple people coming in at the same time, and how do I create the buying frenzy? There is an approach that I'm going to give you guys, literally a step-by-step template and you get to edit it the way you want. And again, take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat, throw away the bone. My personal record of bikes sold in 4 hours is 27. That's nothing compared to some of the guys that I've shown my system to. The record's 41. 41 e-bikes that average at around $3,500 to $4,500. 41 bikes. That's a shit ton of bikes. Pardon my French.
No, it's just shit ton.
Yeah. But we have to go through this process to get there, and then but once you get it, you guys are going to go, oh my god, because it's about how can I leverage my time. So that's a hint. It's how do I leverage my time, and then while still building a relationship with people and creating the value proposition. Because Jerry, you're bang on, man. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. I want to create a buying frenzy repeatedly. And, you know, obviously you need people in the door to be able to do it. So, I mean, it's not like I'm selling 27 bikes in 4 hours time every time, because I only get 3 people walking in. And, you know, I'm not going to sell one person 20 bikes. It'd be nice if they wanted 20 bikes, right? It's just, so let's go back to this. So butts on bikes. This is absolutely a critical factor. If you want to be successful at selling Pedego electric bikes, you got to get the bobs. Up at Island Life, which is also Pedego St. Augustine, and they also own Pedego Ponte Vedra, their mechanic, after I did this with them, he said, and the mechanic, by the way, did not want to do sales. But when we were done, this mechanic was like, Joe, I get it. And he was having so much fun with it. He goes, if they ain't bobbing, they ain't buying. You got to get the bob. You got to get the butts on bikes, guys. So again, it comes down. Somebody walks in the door. The goal has to be quickly on the bike. You can't talk your way into the sale. It's butts on bikes, butts on bikes, butts on bikes. You hear me okay? Or?
Yeah, sorry, you just froze up on the TV screen here.
Okay. You want me to just freeze up here too?
Oh, one moment. Sorry.
I mean, I got donuts over there too.
What's that? Can you click? Where's the remote?
What do you want me to do? It's right by your left.
Choose this TV? Or why is that not? Sorry about that, bit of technical difficulties.
Commercial moment. It's an opportunity to sell.
Why is it not?
By the way, Joe, I've got a wonderful selection of electrical bikes. Anything you pick behind me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll ship it to you personally. Okay.
Nice. Nice.
Just saying, Joe. We've got some great bike selections here, and I need to put your butt on a new bike, not just one of the other ones you've got in your collection in your garage.
The stable.
It would be a stable for you, wouldn't it?
It is. It is. It's ongoing.
Do here. I apologize.
No worries.
We still have you on the. Kyle, let's just continue.
The audio, yeah.
Yeah. Hit the AirPlay at the top. Do you know how to work that?
It should be airplaying.
Okay. It's all right. Let's continue. This is too important to waste with you.
Good?
Yep, we're all set.
So, out of 100 people that come into the store, gentlemen, again, early statistics for you, but it's powerful to ask. Out of 100 people that come in the store, how many of them actually test ride?
Oh, gosh.
Probably a third, maybe.
Okay?
20%, 25%.
All right, so let's call it 33.
You're gonna have to
I think that's a fair number. we know based on this, just this number alone, take away all the sales training. What matters here is if I can influence this number this way, I will influence this number this way. That critical component here. Most stores tell me, oh, about half. But what they're not doing is until I show up and I talk about the importance of measuring your metrics. Count your test rides. Somebody walks in the door, you count them. Somebody test rides the bike, you should be counting your test ride waiver, whether it's paper, which I'm not a huge fan of, or whether it's a digital test ride waiver. Because now that you have it, because the goal is based on this, and here's the problem, is it's the 95 people that are leaving. So the goal is, hey, listen, if they're not buying on the first visit, and I will ask the experienced e-bike guy in the room, Kyle, when somebody test rides a bike, how long is it, in your opinion, before they actually buy one?
Typically within, before COVID, it was on average, we'd see, 2 trips they would buy or 3 trips, depending on whether or not they rented the second trip.
Okay. So in my experience, when somebody comes in and they visit you, and then if again, statistically is they come in, they visit, the majority don't test ride, right? I'm just looking at the numbers, right? This would tell me that 67% of people are not test riding. So they're going to go online and see if they can get it cheaper. So the goal has to be improve my test ride number. This metric has to come up. If I bring this from 33 to 66%, I double my business on the first visit sales. It's just the math does not lie. So if I can improve my butts on bikes, I make more sales. The other option is I have to improve my follow-up. This is the missing link, because statistically 96 hours is how long it takes for someone before they buy a bike. Within 4 days, after they've had the magic of feeling younger, being able to have the ability to do things that they haven't been able to do in a while, not making it fun to ride again, or just, my God, this is just so exhilarating, or it's an alternative in terms of transportation, and they find something that's comfortable. And for all the reasons that you're in the business already, this is one of the key components, because if you don't get them here to get them here, you better get them here, because otherwise they're going somewhere else. Does all of this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So part of this, where I'm saving all of these, and I will make photos of them, and I'll be sending them to you. You got to play what I call your A game. And your A game is this. Somebody walks in the door, and you know what, I'll ask Jerry this, because I think this is, as a retailer. Jerry, have you ever gone into a retail location and been ignored when you walked in?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Guys?
That's the problem. That's the reason why they're going out of business.
Exactly. So, I mean, have you ever gone into a retail store and nobody pays attention to you? They totally ignore you?
Yep.
Yeah. Right? So, if you're going to play your A game, first and foremost, I mean, it's so, I know for those of us who have been doing retail for a while, like, again, it's been my career. I look at this and it's like, this is just obvious person-to-person interaction. You have to acknowledge people that are in your store. Just acknowledge them. So I'll give you an example. Somebody was to walk in, let's say I'm in my retail location right now, and somebody walks in the store, I could be in the middle of a conversation with Kyle right now, looking right at Kyle. And even if I'm having that conversation, 55% of the way that I communicate is with body language. So I could literally turn around while I'm talking with Kyle and just turn my face this way, see somebody walk in and give them the finger, not the finger, this finger, and just go and keep talking with Kyle. So I'm not disrespecting you because you're there, but they know that they've at least been acknowledged. Or I could just go, hang on a second. Hey, folks, be with you in a quick moment. And then I'm right back. Because the problem that I see in retail is people are so focused on the one person that they're with right now, they ignore everybody else. Well, nobody likes to feel ignored, and they're going to leave. Like, I've literally walked into stores myself, my experience, and we're going to discuss your avatar, your customer avatar in a sec. If you don't acknowledge them, they will go spend their money elsewhere. I mean, this is critical. So play your A game. You acknowledge everyone that walks in. And I got hired by Canada's largest sporting goods retailer to do some consulting with. They've since been sold, but long and short of it, they were having a problem with theft. And what we did was we initiated a 10-foot rule. Like the square footage of your location is how big, guys? About 2,000 square feet?
1,800.
Okay. Not a bad guess based on what I could see.
Right.
Some of the stores that I was dealing with, like with Sport Check and whatnot, these were 10,000 to 20,000 square foot, smaller versions of a Dick's Sporting Goods, for example, but up here in Canada. But they were dealing with a lot of problems. They had different departments, and the problem that they were having was they had people stealing. And so what we initiated was a 10-foot rule where you would actually acknowledge, play your A game, acknowledge everyone if you got within a 10-foot space, and it would be, hey folks, making out okay? And what do people typically say? Oh, I'm just looking, right? I'm just having to look around. And what we would say was, and we initiated this, I came up with this, that's great. Somebody will come back and check up on you in a quick moment. Somebody will come back and check up on you in a quick moment. Theft dropped by 20% based on that one sentence. Why? Because subconsciously, and I'm a big fan of neuro-linguistic programming, subconsciously your mind picks up on somebody's going to come back and check up on me in a quick moment. Somebody's going to come up, right? So when you acknowledge somebody, and this is another challenge that I see within a lot of the Pedego locations, and I'm not saying this about you folks, I'm just saying in some of the Pedego stores, they're so thrilled when somebody walks in because sometimes, there hasn't been a lot of traffic or whatever, that they pounce on them. That's right. Play your A game, and yes, highest energy wins. There's no doubt about it. So that's part of it. You have to have high energy. Right? Highest energy wins for sure. However, give them, acknowledge them, and 10 seconds, guys.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's okay. Somebody walks in the door and you acknowledge and you go, you're alone in this store. That's fine. You could be behind the counter. Hey, folks, be with you in a quick moment. Just give them a sense so that they can at least smell the place as opposed to, hey, and you're right in their face. I mean, it's like, okay, I got a bubble and you've just stepped in. So deep breath, 10 seconds, acknowledge, and just simply, again, play the A game. Acknowledge, hi folks, be with you in a quick moment, 10 seconds. 3 questions you must ask. Again, take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat and throw away the bone. I'm all for building a relationship with your clients. However, if the store starts to get busy, we need to be able to reduce things down so that I can save time on the sales floor. And again, the goal is butts on bikes. The goal is butts on bikes. People walk in the door. Everybody could have a counter in their pocket, by the way. And at the end of the workday, you go, how many people did you count? I had 17. Oh, I had 12. How many did you get? I had 14. All right, so let's average it out at 14, 15. It doesn't have to be rocket science here, guys, but if you're measuring the metric, good. How many people walked in? How many phone calls did we get? right? Measure those. Acknowledge, 10 seconds. And then you go up to them and you go, so first time in our store? And a lot of salespeople would say, oh no, you can't ask the closed question. The rules have changed. First time in the store, you'll see that right now, obviously they're going to say yes because they're brand new. But within a few weeks, that question could be no, because remember, you've got people who have left. So is it your first time in the store? No, I've been in before. Oh, who were you dealing with? I was actually dealing with Amin. Oh, let me go get him for you. Because clearly that person has a relationship with Amin. So don't start from scratch. Right? First time in the store? Yes or no? If it's no, great. So here, I'm going to share with you guys something. I want to share with you my screen here. Let me make sure I've got it open. I'm going to send you guys this daily metrics tracker.
It's very difficult to see because we're running off a laptop at the moment because it's not coming up.
No worries. No worries. Let me just get this open here, guys, and then I'll.
Sure.
Okay. Excellent. So this is it's an Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to send over to you guys. I'm going to make a note that I send this. So I call it the DM tracker. And let me share my screen with you real quick. All right, share screen. So basically, as you can see, here we are, we're in September. I'll click on September here. So I know it's a small screen, but guys, I'll send this over to you, and it's a tabulating Excel spreadsheet. So today we're the 14th. So if somebody walks in, you could go to the 14th, right? Click on you can make a check mark. You could use this, very rudimentary if you want. And you can add to this. You'll be able to edit it. So the 3 questions that you want to ask somebody, first question is, right after you acknowledge, give them 10 seconds. And then it's like, so first time in the store? They're probably going to say yes. Awesome. How did you hear about us? This is the marketing question. Gary, how much money did you spend on marketing to drive traffic into your store over the years?
Oh my God, more than the national average.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb from a sales and marketing standpoint is 3 to 4%, but I was in the 12.
That's great. We had a 10% rule at Depot.
But it paid off. When you can gross, when you've got, let's say 1,000 square feet, and you can gross in retail $2,000 a square foot, that's a very, very high number.
Yeah.
And the sales justified it. And my mentality has never been, okay, business is great, let's cut back. Oh, no. That's why business is great, because you have to ask for the business every day.
Yeah.
I asked for it last week, so they should come in this week. No. Their attention span is very, very short because of all of the instruments they have to cut you out. The internet. Well, getting back to one thing that you were talking about earlier, if I could just for a moment.
Please, go ahead.
Okay. When you said, why did you pick this? Well, the fact of the matter is, I believe you can do anything you want to do. And if you're driven in anything that you want to do, you will be successful. And the key reasons why I picked this here.
Yes.
And painfully honest now.
Yeah, please.
My all 5 of our children always said, Dad, this place isn't working out for me. And I said, do they appreciate you? And they would say, no. And I said, well, you need to go somewhere where you're appreciated.
Yeah.
And in flip side of that, whether you're a neophyte or whether you're experienced in a business, the key to a successful career or job are the people you work with, okay? There has to be a respect level amongst your peers that is always there every single day.
Love it.
And the key reason, there's actually two key reasons. The first key reason is that you can't teach people to be an entrepreneur. That's one thing you can't do. Entrepreneurship is not a closed loop definition of this is what it takes. But when you see it, you know it. And when you do it, you know it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I saw with Grego and Kyle was that they were willing to accept the risk of business.
Yeah.
That's what an entrepreneur is. If you're not willing to accept the risk, but you also must realistically set your expectations at the correct level. For example, once again, this place is not open. There is very little awareness at the public level that this exists. Very, very little. Right. But in spite of that, they've sold over 5 bikes, okay, because of that drive and that spirit. Now, sitting down in the interview process, this is important. Kyle struck me as being extremely driven, knowledgeable, and, excuse the expression, shapeable in retail.
Yeah.
He's got incredible skills, and Grego has dealt with a myriad of public issues as a pilot for over 30 years, notwithstanding any private ventures that he was involved with. So in picking to be here, I said, is this a good match? And the answer was yes, because, and I thought about it for a day or whatever. And, you know, Grego said he was trying to adopt me. Well, unbeknownst to Grego, I've already passed the papers in adopting Kyle. He is no longer a dependent mentally or emotionally.
Where were you when I was paying for college?
Now, what they can learn is, you know, your experience means you've made mistakes and hopefully learn from them.
Yes.
But, you know, all you can really try and do is say, hey, here it is for the offering, and you do it every time you have a class. I can only lead you to where you need to be. You must implement. You must take action. Correct. Action without cause is irrelevant. So, you know, I believe that they have all the right ingredients beyond to be successful here.
Yeah.
Going forward, because, you know, for someone to take the initiative to say, hey, this early in the game, and I'm sure you've dealt with this, where you go in to do sales training and it's been 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years later, not in the beginning.
Correct.
So, you know, Grego, from a leadership standpoint, is doing a very great job at implementing the tools that Amin and myself and everybody else, because no matter how much you know,
there's more to learn.
If you can take just a little bite and make a big difference, therein lies the reason.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for getting off track here, but
guys, and Jerry, thanks for bringing that up, because so now I look at, you know, I've added, you know, this place is a good fit for you personally. You're respected, you're feeling appreciated, and there's an opportunity for you to give. I think there's a, you know, I mean, everybody in this team that I'm looking at is here to learn. You're all, you know, what I'm hearing from you, Jerry, is that there's an opportunity for you to also give of yourself as, hey, I'm a team member. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn from everybody else, but I'm also here to give, because you've got 35 plus years of retail experience that you're going to be able to take and go, guys, let's try this. Let's try that. And I mean, I've only known you for about an hour. It would seem to me that the fact that you know, you're speaking the same language of the adoption that Grego's talking about, you're getting along extremely well, and that's what's great. I mean, it's, you know, the molding of it is going to come with a little bit of time, and as long as you guys maintain that team attitude and that play the A game, you're going to crush it. But this is great. This is great. I've added to it, so thank you.
May I, you know, bringing us, I know you were going through the 3 questions to ask.
First 3.
One of which you moved on from, but it was the A game of acknowledging. One of the problems, and I don't know if the right answer or not, and I haven't talked to Jerry yet about his experience with this, is the phone call. Have you ever waited to be the one being served? The phone rings, and you've been waiting for a while or what have you in your scenario. Let's say the skies open up and we get 3 customers in here at the same time, or 4 customers, and the phone rings, and you drop what you're doing. These people have been waiting, and you answer the phone call and you handle the phone call, and it makes me mad when I have to sit there and they're handling this call. This person hasn't waited or anything. They called up and immediately they go to the phone call and leave everybody else hanging. So based on your experience, back on that acknowledge thing, I hate to wind back the tape a little bit. What are your recommendations in that regard?
So you have two. You've got a couple of options here. First of all, is you could go automation, right? So let me throw this up. I'm going to come back to this because I'm not done this part yet. However, you're asking the right question. You're asking the right question. So in your business, as a business owner, you have choices, right? You could either automate, you could delegate, or you could eliminate. Now, you don't want to eliminate in this case because the phone call costs you money. You definitely want to be able to take it on. You could automate in the sense that, okay, I'm going to put an outgoing voicemail because obviously, and I agree with you, the live client, that is the live prospect, because they don't become a customer until they've paid you money, right? So right now I'm building no love and trust or no like and trust with the people that are live in the store. So I can automate it where there's an outgoing message saying, hello, fun. Thank you for calling Pedego, Boca, Raton. We're not available to take your call right now because we have people that we're riding bikes with. We would love to hear from you. Please leave your name and phone number, and we'll call you back as soon as we come back from our next ride. If you're calling after business hours, which are blah, 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 so on and so forth. Or you could delegate this. And what I mean by this is you could either hire people to just answer the phone, and they're not there. You would hire a virtual assistant. And you could get virtual assistants for cheap, by the way. And it's only when like we have 2 virtual assistants in our businesses. So we have somebody that we pay as little as $250 a month to do the $10 tasks. And I'm might as well just jump into it. And again, you're new in terms of this business, but what's great is we all have what I call the same 168. I have 168 hours a week. The 4 of you all have 168 hours a week. How are you spending your 168? Right? Because what we want to do is, I want to do what some of the wealthiest people in the world do. I want to buy time because that's the only thing that's not, as far as resources, it's not a renewable resource. So let me give you an example. I haven't mowed my lawn in over 20 years. I don't even own a lawnmower. I mean, I can do it. Of course I can mow my lawn. I hire a guy for 25 bucks to mow my lawn. Why? Because what I do on an hourly basis, I make more than 25 bucks an hour. So I'm happy to give him the 25 bucks so that I could go and do the tasks so I can delegate that, so I can go do the tasks that make more sense. And even if I was making 25 bucks an hour, is mowing the lawn, like, and I'll give you an example. I've had some people say, yeah, but Joe, I love to mow the lawn. And I'm like, you do, huh? Do you mow your neighbor's lawn? Well, no. Well, then you don't love it that much, right? So, like, you can automate, delegate, or eliminate. Make a choice. And that's it, because it comes down to how am I spending my 168 hours this week? And where am I going to be able to leverage my time the best? Because at the end of the day, time, like for me, I look at my calendar, I look at this thing, and if this thing isn't full, then it's the devil. I end up procrastinating. I end up, screwing the pooch and not doing the stuff that really matters to get me to my why. So if I have a full calendar of, hey, I've got appointments with people coming in ready to ride bikes, and rentals are coming in, and I've got to go do deliveries, and now we're talking. You want to have a full calendar. So when somebody calls while you're on the floor, the question that you have to ask yourself right now, Grego, is I would certainly recommend an outgoing system. And you may be able to set it up, and I know there's a way to do it. I'm not the expert here. So that when a client is in the store or a prospect is on the floor, you can have it so that it rings silently so that it doesn't interrupt anybody. Or, so you press a button and it'll automatically go to voicemail. So this way you can stay focused on the task at hand, which is building that relationship, because you also don't want your prospects to go, hey man, your phone's been ringing a lot.
Right.
You want them to
That's just poor customer service. I agree. That is the flip side of not answering the phone. Yeah.
So you want to be able to put in the systems in place. And so is it, do you go to Upwork, or do you go to Free Up and find because I'll send you the link to that. Like I've used Fiverr and Free Up a lot, where we do have our own virtual assistant, like Mitra, and she's fantastic. And like anybody else, we've had to, interview and do some training, and we've had to let people go and bring people on. But she'll do tasks, and she's happy to do them. She's not from Canada. She's not from the United States. You can get somebody from the Philippines or from India who's exceptionally exceptionally well educated and happy to do these tasks. That, hey, I need an Excel spreadsheet done. I need for you to do this. I need redo this whole Word document, post up to Facebook and do all of my social media posts. I don't do that stuff. I get other people to do it, and happy to pay them to do it so that I can free up this so I can do more of this. And Grego, I can see you going, huh. I'm opening up the kimono, man. I'm giving it everything. You're going to get every little.
No, that's what we need. Yeah, because we're at the stage right now of making some decisions. I've talked it over with Jerry and Kyle, and but the Facebook and how we're going to go about the social media aspect, because the world has changed.
Yeah.
And Facebook is, for Kyle, old school stuff now, whereas to me it's still new school. And yeah, it's freeing up the time, but also it's not in any of our wheelhouses. All four of us. And
I'll point the finger to the right people and connect you. And again, it's just take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat, and throw away the bone. But we'll come back to that. But that's a great question, because by asking me these questions, this wasn't on my curriculum. This is just something that, we're spur of the moment that came out, and stream of consciousness. You asked the right question. I'm giving you this because it's solid. I learned this from this guy you might know, Tony Robbins. You ever heard? Yeah, he taught me this.
I was a believer way back when, 20 years ago or so.
Yeah, I did Personal Power when I was 18. My dad bought me that program, and it's no brainer. But yeah, automate, delegate, eliminate, just completely. And I have a coach, Craig Ballantyne. He's like, Joe, you got it. No, the answer is not what. The answer is who. Who can do it for you? And he's so right. So coming back to playing your A game, just want to finish up on this topic because I want to jump into something else too. You guys also got to remember that regardless of how long you've been open, right? And Kyle, you can definitely place yourself in this position. However, regardless of the fact, for the rest of us who may not have the degree that Kyle has and or the experience in literally the technology side of it, you guys, as part of your A game, you have to remember that you are an authority. You're an authority. So the fact that you are a branded Pedego location makes you the authority on electric bikes in your community, period. So to play your A game, the 3 questions, to come back to it, somebody walks in the door, whether I'm busy with someone or not, I acknowledge and I go, hi folks, be with you in a quick moment. Now some stores, and I'll give credit where credit is due, it was Pedego Alpharetta in Alpharetta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, I heard them use the Hello Fun to acknowledge people. Somebody would walk in or the phone rings and, hey, hello Fun, be with you in a quick moment. And I like it. You don't have to use it. I'm just telling you, they use it. I think it's great. What we did at Fitness Depot is we had a specific way to answer the phone. And that's, again, this is how we scaled the business. You had to have systems in place. It was like at McDonald's. The menu is always in the right, it's up above behind the person. Everybody knows how to order at McDonald's because you know when you walk up, boom, boom, you place your order. At Fitness Depot, it wasn't, Fitness Depot, this is Joe speaking. It's a great day at Fitness Depot. This is Joe. How can I be of service? Like, that's how you had to say it, and you had to say it. Like, that was the system. It wasn't, it's a great day at Fitness. No, highest energy win. It's a great day at Fitness Depot. Like, you had to be on the point, play your A game. So you can choose, like, this is going to be the beginnings for you guys of just a simple policies and procedures manual. And a manual doesn't have to be this diatribe of a Bible. It could be, 5 pages. What to do when you open the store, checklist, right? Turn the lights on, or, unlock door, hit alarm, turn lights on, turn music on. Like, specifics, just to make it simple, so that when Grego, or when the 4 of you aren't there and you have a new hire, they know that they can go, okay, this is what I do. Because the goal for you guys is to work on the business and not just in it. That's what I want for you guys.
This is an active learning experience here because there are, the 5 of us here. But Jerry, I'd love to take you to task on that if you wouldn't mind doing that, coming up with a policy and procedures manual based on your experience in retail, et cetera.
We'll talk about that on the next pay grade.
May I say, in regards to pay, may I brag about my employees?
Sure.
Jerry brought it up, and Amin was quick to agree, and all that. These guys are not necessarily motivated entirely by compensation, and to me, that just it damn near almost makes me want to tear up, because these guys are in it for the long haul, because they know they're going to be taken care of. Once this place becomes a success, I will take care of them to the extent that they will share in the success of the business. And, we've had Amin bringing in meals once a week, for lunch. Jerry's instituted, and it pisses me off that he stole this idea. He didn't steal it. He created the idea, but I didn't come up with it first, which is Donut Wednesdays. He's got dandy donuts, and he hauls in some donuts. And it's things like that make me really proud of this team. That's and, people that are brought together, and kind of like a poker player where you read folks. And that's how it went during the interview process with these 2 guys. We knew they were the right fit. And we let others go based upon the fact that you could tell that they would fit into the team concept. Because I've been successful in the Navy and at Delta Airlines by creating that team environment. And it's loyalty, and it works both ways. And so, anyways, I'm very proud of them. I hate to digress and go off on a tangent. I wanted it on record because I know you're recording this. These guys are studs.
Go ahead, Jerry. I can see it. Go ahead.
One of the things that's not a shortcoming when it comes to Grego. Now, this is not a mutual admiration society at all. Let's get that clear. But I've been through the pain of businesses in terms of the economy, the crash of the market, the 80s, the 90s, the new millennium. My business started in 1983. I've been in the jewelry industry since 1980. I understand the dynamics of startup.
Yes.
Let's just use that term, startup.
Yeah.
Everything that you plan on is probably 70% of what you're going to actually pay.
Yeah.
In other words, what you know, it's what you don't know. But in addition to that, Grego's got a heart of gold, okay? And I'll say this in this forum because there's not anybody here that we're trying to recruit, to the point of fault, where this business requires a lot of money, okay? A lot of startup money. And along with startup comes, and you have to keep your expectations realistic. And I work with him on it every day. People aren't walking through the door. You don't even have a sign on the door. your Facebook and your Google and your internet marketing is just starting. It's in the embryo stage. It's not even a beta yet. Okay. And so generosity is not a shortcoming of him, because he'd give the shirt off his back to anybody. But, you know, there was a commission structure in place, and I said, you know, it's not realistic for you to start giving away percentages of the business. I mean, I'm an anti Kevin O'Leary fan.
Okay.
Right? I don't believe in perpetuities until it's an established business.
Correct.
So, you know, 1% here, 2% there. The credit card company gets 2.4%. Synchrony Bank gets 6%. You know, you got all these percentages going out the door, and Lord knows that the gross profit margin of Pedego bikes isn't exactly exorbitant. So you got to watch your costs. You got to watch your expenses.
Yeah.
So I just threw it out there saying, hey, listen, this may not be the time to start giving commissions. You know, why don't we all share in that when it's time?
Right. And it won't take long. It won't, and that's great, Jerry. And I really appreciate you bringing that up. And the goal here is it won't take long. And you know, let's wait, Grego, wait till we're done all of these calls together, because you're going to get some good pieces of that. What is my policies and procedures manual puzzle? What will it look like when our time doing all of this is done? You'll at least have, you know, chapters of the new book, if you will, set up. Yeah, help. So again, 3 questions when somebody walks in the door, after you've acknowledged them, after you give them that 10-second rule. Again, that's just, again, my opinion. Hey, folks, be with you in a quick moment. 10 seconds goes by. Again, I make a point of measure the metrics, because it's critically important to measure. And then it's 3 questions. Hey, so is it your first time in the store? How did you hear about us? Have you ever ridden a Pedego before? First time in the store, how did you hear about us? Do you ever ride a Pedego before? And I'm going to tell you guys a story. Here I am at the age of 23, when I had my fitness store here in Winnipeg. At the time, it was called Precision Fitness before we became Fitness Depot. And I used to ask the question, how did you hear about us, only at the end of the sale, after I had written an invoice. The problem with that is I wasn't asking every prospect. And Grego, you're about to spend money on social media, and when people find out that you're actually open, Jerry will tell you, you're going to be bombarded by people wanting to get you to advertise nonstop. It's just
I don't know how they found me. Those people found me easier than any customer walking in the door.
Nonstop, brother. They're going to be on you like white on rice. It'll be nonstop. And you know, no is a good word. This idea that, oh, if I say no, then I'm closing the universe off to me. No, that's not how it works. You're allowed to pick and choose when you want to be able to do things. You are the business owner. You're allowed to say no, because it also comes back to, right, where did I put it? Automate, delegate, eliminate. Eliminate is no. You're allowed to say no. I'm not doing that. I've only got 168, man. So, first time in the store, how did you hear about us? So here I am. I'm in my fitness store. Again, back then, 23 years old. And I'm talking with this couple, and it came to realize that, you know, hey, so how did you hear about my store? Then this woman, her name, I'll never forget, her name was Diane, and she said, oh, I heard your ad on the radio. I said, awesome. I said, what station was it? She said, oh, it was 92 City FM. I'm like, terrific. Do you remember what time of day it was? Was it like drive to work, or was it drive home? She said, oh, it was definitely drive home, because I passed by your store at the same time. And I terrific. Awesome. So we keep talking, and she was in for a treadmill. She ended up buying a treadmill and a home gym, and we wrote it up, and she left. And I had a business partner, and I looked over at him. I said, Derek, are we even advertising on the radio? No. Getting it? She heard one of my competitors' ads and thought it was my store. So let me just tell you something here. I started asking, so a couple things. Number one, I called 92 City FM that following Monday. This was a Saturday. I called them on Monday. Tell me about the demographic of your listenership. And I started advertising with 92 City. I ended up getting more traffic, number one. Number two, my competitor obviously was ahead of the game because they were, if it was working to get traffic into my store by accident, it was clearly working to get traffic into their store. So guys, if you don't ask the marketing question and you don't measure it, which is why I come back to screen share. So you look here. How did you hear about us? You don't just put down that somebody's walked in the door. I saw you on, heard you on the radio, TV. I mean, the days of Yellow Pages are long gone. But I mean, Jerry, I'm sure you and I have spent thousands on Yellow Pages over the years. Here's the thing that people mess up with this one. How did you hear about us? Oh, I saw you online. The last time I checked the internet, it was a pretty big freaking place, okay? So I saw you online is just too vague. So you have to be specific. Where? And when you ask the question, I don't care how long it takes for them to come up with an answer. So you're gonna, the sequence will be like this. First time in the store? Yeah, awesome. How did you hear about us? Saw you online. Oh, do you mind telling me where specifically online? Don't tell them, because we all know. It could be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Google, Google Map. It could be an ad. It could be LinkedIn, by the way, and we're going to discuss that in a sec. If you're online, you need to know where and find out where specifically and let them answer. So, Jerry, you were going to say something. Go ahead. When I mentioned that I asked my partner, are we advertising on the radio? And he said no.
Sales by association is what I call it. We saturated, whether it's Google or Facebook or whatever. We were into cable TV. We were into radio. I mean, I was into understanding radio to the point of the metrics of radio, the quarter-hour share, the turnover ratios, what the demographic was, et cetera, AM drive, PM drive, midday, overnights. And people would say, oh, you don't ever want to do it overnight. And I'd say nonsense, because there's certain times of the year where the radio is on, and I want to cater to third shift workers to make sure that they're aware because they're working. So at any rate, we had such saturation and such a presence that anytime any competitor's ad came on, they came into our store for the event.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm here to see the Pearl promotion. Oh, great.
And that's the answer. Yeah, you don't go Jerry, I'm sure.
No, I'm glad.
Wrong store. No, they're in your store.
No, all of my sales staff were well trained. If they come in and say that they heard about a promotion, say, great, go show them the pearls.
Welcome here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us show you what we're promoting.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got it, buddy. You're on fire. I love it. Yeah, I'm with you. So again, this woman, Diane, I heard you out on the radio, and I knew we weren't advertising on the radio, but still, I needed to confirm with my old partner, Derek. I'm like, are we even no? I'm like, oh my God. So all I said was, fantastic. What station was it? And I got the data. Like, I needed the intel so that I could figure out, okay, you're about to start spending money. Like it or not, you're going to spend money, but what you want on that money spend is a return on investment. Your business right now, you need, what you're saying, Grego, is like, hey, I want to be able to get more people in the door. Well, you spend money to attract, right? So there's attraction, and then it's our job to get them to consideration so that they can make that decision to buy. Attraction, consideration, decision. Those three steps. Well, money starts the process by spending money on ads. It'd be great if it was always just organic and word of mouth. And don't get me wrong, the more Pedego electric bikes that you sell, the more Pedego electric bikes you will sell. There's no doubt about it. So it's like, first time in the store? Yes, it is. How do you hear about us? My neighbor, Jimmy, he's bought one, and I want one. Awesome. It's a referral. In retail, we call that a laydown. They're coming in. they already, they're pre-sold. That's going to happen. Like Kyle, you were in the e-bike business for years already. How many times did that happen out on the West Coast with you?
Quite often. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You're going to get people that are just going to walk in and spend, and it's not even about the amount of money. It's that the money won't be the issue, but that will happen over time. But right now, we need to know the target and know where to spend it. So, which leads me to this question. So we've got about half an hour, which is great. We're on point here. There are no wrong answers with this one, fellas. Who's the customer for Pedego, Boca, Raton? Tell me, give me some specific details. If you were to say 80% of the people that will be walking through our door, not right, 80%. Like, let's do the crime scene investigation of the people that are now in the store at Pedego, Boca Raton are going to be this age, this household income, how many male, how many female, like what? Just give me some education levels, kids, all of that. Who's your customer?
Baby boomers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers. Baby boomers.
Boomers. So give me a specific age that you want to call the boomer here. I'm with you.
55 to 70.
So can we meet at 60 on that one age?
Yes.
Yes, 60.
Okay. Are they coming in, are they single or are they married?
As a rule, married.
But there's a mix. But
So
yes.
I'll say couples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upper middle class.
Upper middle class. So when you say that, I'll write that down. Would you say that they're affluent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What would be the average household income for your typical buyer? Again, a customer is somebody who is a buyer. Your typical customer is going to have total household annual income of, throw me the number, guys. No wrong answer.
Discretionary income.
Yeah.
It's all discretionary income. Some people make a lot of money, but it all goes to the mortgage. So it's
Okay.
discretionary income.
Sure.
That's a
I'd
difficult.
probably
Over
say just-
75,000 and plus.
Yeah, I'd say just about the six-figure mark, 100,000 maybe.
Okay.
I'd say 50K and up.
50K and up, I would say. Yeah, I agree, because it's all on their expenses. And with the baby boomers, a lot of times their home's already paid for. So it
Total
doesn't take a
household
lot.
income. So total household income, if I'm hearing 50K and up, then I'm going to say between the two of them, 100K and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
May I also add something that's odd and it won't fit this customer profile? 2 of our bikes went to kids on the spectrum, 2 young men.
Yeah, it's going to happen. You're going to have like 18s to, you're going to get people that are in the 90s coming in. But if we really focus, and here's why I'm asking this question. Because it's part of your metrics, right? Where are you going to spend the dollars? Because this person isn't necessarily on TikTok. Doesn't mean that you can't put an ad on TikTok. However, the 60-year-old is probably still on Facebook. Right? Are they retired or are they still working?
Both.
Okay.
But the majority are retired, I'd say,
Right.
that I've seen.
Okay.
I think it's a split. It really is.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm putting.
joint
That's
joint
fine.
pain or muscle pain.
Yeah, some sort of injury that they're having to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call that one, and this is a big one.
Well,
Health issues.
Yes.
Non-mental.
Absolutely. So here I'm just gonna go over. This is already excellent. there's 3 questions that I like to ask, right, when somebody walks in the door, right? Hey, folks, be with you in a quick moment. Then it's first time in the store. How did you hear about us? Have you ever ridden a Pedego before? Butts on bikes, butts on bikes, butts on bikes.
On a joking side, Joe, on the lighter side, quickly.
Yeah, no sweat.
Grego doesn't believe in butts on bikes. He sells bikes from a phone. He sold 2 bikes yesterday from a phone call.
That's awesome.
And I asked, I said, did they test drive it? He goes, no, no.
Grego, you're going to crush it, buddy.
I didn't want to go ahead and throw a damper on your presentation, but I'm saying it kiddingly. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you take a phone call and they drove 2 hours across the state from Naples to here to buy their bikes when there's a Pedego dealer in Naples.
Naples, yeah. Yeah, Andy Bertel. Yeah.
They wanted to buy. And he obliged. He obliged.
So and I'm going to give you the rest of the template to go along with this, because if you're on the phone, usually the way I do it on the phone is if I can't have somebody commit to a credit card over the phone, then, and I'm foreshadowing this for the future, I'm going to pull out my calendar and go for some kind of mini close, a commitment where, okay, well, what's a good day for you to come in and try one of these out? How's Wednesday or Thursday? Because I always take no. There's times where you don't want to put no on the table. Like I'll ask first time in the store, no is on the table. It's a yes or no question. But there's times to leave no off the table, right? Because if I say, so which one do you prefer? That's not a yes or no question. It's which one do you like better? And then there's a time where you can say, do you want to take it? That's a yes or no question. So in the same context, there's 5 questions or actually 6, that I will ask after what I call the mini spin happens. And I'm foreshadowing this because I want to give you guys this before we're done today. When we know who our customer is, we know where we're going to we get a better sense in terms of where we're going to pinpoint our advertising. This is very important. We also need to know what music that we're going to have in the store playing. Like, I mean, I know right now there isn't any music on, but there's some stores that pride themselves with the music that they have in the store. And music does a couple of things. Number one, it creates energy. There's a context in the store that you have right now that is a fun store. It makes people feel young. You want to be able to cater to this 60-year-old in terms of what do they like to listen to. And Kyle, I'll give you an example. I'm pointing at you because I think you're the youngest dude in the room. I've gone into some stores where people are listening to, and I'm not kidding, like they're listening to Korn or they're listening to Marilyn Manson, and I actually don't, and 9 Inch Nails, I love 9 Inch Nails. But these folks, like my dad's 78, if my dad were to walk into a place that's playing 9 Inch Nails, my dad would be like, what the hell? Like he wouldn't like it.
Joe, Kyle's all over. We've gone through this, and he actually enjoys the music too, because it's opened up a whole new genre for him. But it's that demographic, and we've just signed up with if you have a list of recommended songs or something like that, we did the Echo, the Amazon Unlimited, so we can get playlists. And I don't know if that's something that you have.
Yeah, you could just go. You could just say, and she's probably listening. I know mine would be too. So
yeah, just say Susie. Otherwise, she'll turn on.
Yeah, if I say her name and then I say play me songs from the 60s and 70s, that's it. And then she'll just start playing.
Yes, that's what we've been doing.
A couple of things that happen, but there's also other types of music that you can play, like
Jimmy
gypsy,
Buffett.
flamenco guitar, Jimmy Buffett, that kind of stuff. So you can play with it, and keeping in mind that high energy is a key component, because we want to be able to create an atmosphere that is such where people are having fun. Okay, this is so important in terms of who these people are. There's questions that I like to ask where it's like, who's the bike for? And I'm going to send you the template after this call. But here are the questions: who's the bike for? Who else is going to use it? How are you going to use it? As in, are you riding it for fun? Is it for fitness? Is it commuting? Where are you going to ride it? Is it dirt? Is it gravel? Is it paved? Because now I get to find out a little bit about them, but I'm also taking away certain bikes that I have on the floor. And we'll get into the whole thing of how many bikes that you want to actually demo people, because you don't want to confuse them. So who's it for? Who else is going to use it? How are you going to use it? Where are you going to ride it? How long's your typical ride going to be? We're going to talk, and I'm hinting at the power of the bike itself and the battery and the range, because people have what's called range anxiety in the e-bike industry. People have range anxiety. And then I think it's critically important for a Pedego location to ask, so are you planning on riding alone, or do you want to ride in a group? We're building community. You want to be able to start doing group rides. And I'll tell you, when you start doing group rides, it's going to suck at first. You're not going to get people coming out. Over time, you'll end up having, three, maybe one person, then three people. Then there are stores that do group rides where there are 16 to 20 people every group ride. And it creates this community. And it's a blast. And the group rides, people will rent to come to the group ride. And so now you're creating additional revenue. Kyle, you got a question?
Yeah. How often have you seen the, effective group rides taking place? Once a week, a couple times a month?
Great question. So I've seen it minimum once a week. And there's a couple of stores that they do a twice a week group ride. There's a beer and bike group ride that I've seen on Wednesdays. And a lot of people go, beer and bike? Oh, this is scary. It's like, no, they ride first, then they just go and share a beer after. So it's beer and bike Wednesday, and then it's group ride Saturday mornings before the store even opens.
Okay.
Those are two popular time frames that I've seen work. And we can deep dive into that a little bit later if you want.
Perfect,
and again, you don't have to do twice a week, but if you have a regular group ride, it makes sense to me that, and what will be interesting is you can have some ambassadors and or people that are part of your POG. Like you want people in your Pedego owners group to be a part of this community and have a Pedego Boca Raton POG president so that they encourage other people to come along. And you guys are the sponsor for the group ride. And whether that's coffee or, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get a box of coffee from Starbucks. It's like after the ride, have a little shot of coffee, and you guys all have fun with that. And if they're by the store, guess what's going to happen? They're going to look at accessories.
Right.
And you'll end up, earlier, Jerry just said the same thing. The margins that are on the bikes, if you do an opportunity buy, you might get better than 40%, but the real margin is in all your accessories. I mean, and that's the goal. I'm going to show you a way to be able to add line items to an invoice. A typical Pedego store, when I do sales training with them, there are 3 line items. They do the bike, the helmet, and maybe a lock. And that's it. I've got stores that average 14 line items average, because what matters is your blended margin. It's not just the margin on the bike. If you want to be able to be profitable as a business, Jerry hinted at it earlier. It's what's the money per square foot that I'm making, and what's the money that blended margin that I'm making on every invoice. That's the key without being salesy. That's the other part of it. How can I do it so that I'm not coming across salesy and yet people are loving it? Because I was the keynote speaker at the Chicagoland Area Bicycle Dealers Association back in February. And I asked this question. And Kyle, because you're the bicycle industry guy, I'm sure you can give us the answer. Have you ever had somebody buy a bike from you and then a couple of weeks later walk in with a box filled with accessories that they bought somewhere else, Amazon, and they've asked you, hey, can you install these on my bike, please? You ever had that happen?
I have had that happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know whose fault it is? It's the retailer's fault, because you allowed that customer to leave without the accessories. And it hurts to hear it, because if they're buying a $3,000 or $4,000 bike, a helmet or a water bottle cage for $20 or a rack for $80, like these aren't things that they're going to care about. And I'm going to show you guys a systematic approach where they're going to go, yeah, they'll say, Kyle, what should I get? And you're going to say, well, you should get this, and you will literally have a checklist to give to them, and they're going to say, yeah, and how are you going to get that bike home? I don't know. Are you only going to ride around your home? You should get yourself this rack that's on this list. It's $749. It's a Thule Easy Fold. It's fantastic. And so now what you're doing is you're not telling them, do you want a rack? You're saying, I'm the authority. Remember, you're playing your A game. A for authority. Listen, I'm Kyle. I'm here. I'm one of the owners of Pedego, Boca, Raton. I'm telling you, you need a rack. It's only $749, right? And you're making 50% margin on that rack, which is like it. And it takes practice, and we're going to practice this. That makes sense?
Yeah, I came close to selling a rack yesterday to that very couple over the phone, but I waited too long. And timing is everything, because it's as we're loading it into a Tahoe that I mentioned the fact that Thule racks, what are those? And I went into it. Oh, it was just, anyways, it's because I fly airplanes. I'm not a salesy guy. But
You're good.
the point is that timing is important, and how and when you do a presentation. And so those are some skills that I hope they'll build on. May I say something? I bragged about these two guys, and I mean sincerely. My son is the rock star in this whole operation. He's the knowledge, he's the basis, and all that. So I'm pretty damn proud of my son. But he's going to grow and get better and better, and he'll be a superstar in this industry. But before too long. The second thing I wanted to bring up, because the time, I know your time is valuable, as is we open our doors in just a little while. Not that anyone's going to come in, I pray, but I hope they do. But I have a problem that I'm dealing with locally. There were 2 other Pedego stores that were in business previously, one of which one was far enough away, or long ago it was in Fort Lauderdale, and they closed up operation. Okay. And so I haven't had any bad vibes, if you will, from the customers or people looking up. But the closest one is just, I don't know, 10 minutes drive from here, was called Del Rey, and they closed in 2018 or so. And that owner didn't do justice to the Pedego brand. And so there's some people that have negative feelings and or connotations. He might have left customers high and dry. I'm not sure what's going on. There are some personal things that Don informed me of as to why this gentleman had some problems. He started off well, and he ended very poorly due to he had some problems. And so the point is I just sent an email to Cassidy and Don. They can't give me the old customer base, but I need to reach out. So this is why I'll send you what I've written last night as a template that I sent to Cassidy and Don to look at. And so although they can't give me the email addresses, they will send it from there to these other people for privacy reasons. They can send it to them. And so what I would like you to do is a little later on, I'll forward you an email that I have drafted. I encourage editing, please. Okay. To have a look at it. So what I want to do is not point a finger and saying, yeah, we acknowledge that there was a bad story. I want to keep it positive, and yet at the same time, phrase it in a way that's, how can I say it? I want to bring them back into the fold of Pedego. And that's a difficult thing to do, and it's a real clever thing. And now it's an email, most people discard it. So how it's subject, and I've already had it from the desk of Don DiCostanzo. So I've got you now, so expect an email from me after this session, and have a look at it and see if there's anything that you would change or approach that you might take.
And remember, like, one email is a courtesy, right? Like you're going to send out one email. The open rate of an email, unless they're actually on your list, is pretty low. If they're on your list, again, follow up, I come back to, and if the number is 95% of the people are leaving, follow up is a critical component. This is where I'm a big believer in, you can either delegate or automate your follow-up. You can't eliminate follow-up, it's a critical component. The question will be, right now you can do it, and I'll show you what I call the relentless follow-up approach, because you have 96-hour window. Because you brought up this other Pedego store, which I'm not familiar with, because again, there's hundreds of them. Does anybody own that phone number? Their old phone number? Is it still, if it's dead, can you buy it? Because I would. Because if they had customers, or if they're still, if you look it up on Google, is it still there? Does a phone number still exist? Because if it,
I did see that, yes. There is, that's a hell of an idea.
I would buy that phone number in a heartbeat, because you're going to drive all that traffic to you.
Yeah, that was, Don keeps saying, oh, it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago.
Doesn't matter. If
It
they
doesn't matter.
2 years ago and they sold 100 bikes or 200 bikes,
Well, he says they didn't sell that many. I don't know how many bikes they did sell, but it's come up on half a dozen times. For example, even when I was on an SBA phone call, Kyle and I were on SCORE, and the guys were Googled our business. And although we are on Google, we just haven't advertised or present. Someone has to specifically look for us. But the point is these guys, these two old veterans of the business, typed in, Pedego, in our area or whatever, and Del Rey pops up. And they're going, oh crap, you got a problem. And
have you set up your Google My Business page?
Yes.
yes.
Good.
Kyle did that, and we're also having a landing page launch. And so that's going to be a separate from Don's. There are links on there that goes to the national page. But there are inaccuracies there, and plus they're not as flexible and mobile. Santiago, which is their guy, has been wonderful helping us out. But it gives me a little bit more quicker response, and we're also going with the, not a virtual system, a real person. So if someone comes to this landing page, then there'll be someone that will say, hey, how can I help you? One of those type things. But nothing pisses me off more than having a bot do that.
Right.
Because you can tell right away it's a bot. And it's like making that phone call. Press 1 if you would like to speak in Spanish. Press 2. And you go in this big loop, and you're on the phone for 5 minutes before you get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
So those are the two things. So please expect an email from me if you wouldn't mind taking a read of it and any sort of cut. I can redo the editing and all the writing, but I'll just show you what I've got. But it's that initial kind of tempering the waters and welcoming back to the fold that we're going to be here for the long haul kind of thing. And we're sorry, not sorry that there were problems in the past. I want to avoid that problem. They might have had a good experience. Some people did.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, enough said. I'm sorry to take you off topic, but I just the time. Okay.
So I want to finish off because I think the next time that we're together is a week from now, correct?
Correct.
So I want to really focus on butts on bikes. The next three things will be critical, and we might go over by a few minutes because I've got a bit of time this morning. So somebody walks in the door, acknowledge, 10 seconds, 3 questions. First time in the store, how'd you hear about us? Measure those metrics, right? Measure the metrics. How'd you hear about us? Put it in your daily metrics tracker. And then have you ever ridden Pedego before? It's not have you ever ridden an e-bike before. Have you ever ridden a Pedego before? Because that is your brand. The odds are they're going to say no. If highest energy wins, when somebody says, right, highest energy wins, guys. First time in the store? No. Or yeah? Okay, awesome. How'd you hear about us? Oh, I saw your ad on Facebook, or I saw a post on Instagram. Cool. Have you ever ridden a Pedego before? No. No? Oh my God, this is gonna be so awesome. 3 words, guys.
I love that transition there. That's beautiful.
3 words. Just for fun. Just for fun. Those 3 words, magic. And I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due, but I have to say, those 3 words are my baby. Just for fun. Just for fun, come with me. The goal is butts on bikes. And I've shown people how to get butts on bikes because I've shown people on how to be able to sell more bikes. And so it's first time in the store, how'd you hear about us? You ever ride a Pedego before? No? Oh my God, just for fun, come with me. I'm recommending that you put 3 bikes with batteries near the front door so that you can walk right outside and have a test ride space ready to go. Now here's how it works. I'm gonna do this quick because we're running out of time. So again, hey folks, be with you in a quick moment. 10 seconds goes by. First time in the store? Yeah. Awesome. Welcome here. So how'd you hear about us? Heard your ad on the radio. Terrific. What station? Oh, terrific. Okay. And so have you ever ridden a Pedego before? No? Oh my God. Just for fun. Come with me.
I love that transition.
I go first. I'm the salesperson. I go first. Don't try to set the bike up for the client. I go first. Because sometimes you're going to get that reluctant person who says, oh, no, I'm not riding today. And
Oh, I get that all the time.
my answer is, I go, don't worry, I'm not asking you to ride yet. I'm going first. Because I'm excited about the product that I'm going to show you, but I get to go first. Now, here's the reason why you go first. And Kyle, I'm going to ask you because you're the resident expert. When somebody comes back from a Pedego ride, what gear is the bike in?
Oh, it's in the highest gear.
Right. So if the bike is in its highest gear, I get Mr. and Mrs. Customer who are in this age range, and they want to ride the bike, and when they first start pedaling that bike in 7th or 10th gear, that bike kind of looks like this when it takes off, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what you want to do is I go first, and all I'm doing is I'm going to ride it 20 to 30 yards in a straight line, turn around, 20 to 30 yards back. But what I'm doing is I'm going to go click, 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 downshift it to 2nd or 3rd gear. Turn around and come back. I'm going to make sure that the bike is perfect. Because if I have them start, again, the goal is I want to improve my probability of sale. They have to have a great experience. If it's tough to pedal, the bike will be wobbly until the assist kicks in, or if they hit the throttle. Now, again, take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat and throw away the bone. There are some people at Pedego that recommend that they show the throttle first. I disagree. I do not show the throttle first because there are people, your prospects, some of them with health issues that may want to be able to lose weight, and we'll discuss this a little bit more in depth on the next call. If I show them the throttle, the first thing out of their mouths is, well, isn't that cheating? So I'm not going to make it about cheating. I'm going to show them pedal assist, and I'm going to go first. So I'm going to ride the bike, and I'm going to go 20 to 30 yards, straight line, downshift the bike so that it's in the right gear. Usually 3rd is about the sweet spot. I come back. Again, I haven't left for a mile. I'm just doing something short and sweet. It's like, you know, hey, Amin, have an M&M out of this bowl, but just one. I'm just going to give you one little M&M. You're going to want to eat the whole bowl, right? That's the whole idea. But so here's how I do it. I go first, I come back, and then I go, all right, it's your turn, sir. So before we get started, I just need you, and this is what I do is I get people to fill out a digital test ride waiver. So I go, okay, I just need you to be responsible for yourself. It's our company policy. I just need your first name. And it's Amin. Oh, how do I spell that? Is it Ahmeen?
Yeah, close.
Okay, and what's your last name? I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bob.
All right, and your phone number, and I take your phone number down, and then your email address, and then I just go, okay, now by touching this button, or because of COVID, I'm just going to touch this button for you, and now you're entered to win a $100 gift card draw, and you've also got our digital test ride waiver done. I take my phone, I put it away. All of what I've just done is this has now created a sales funnel to automate what? My follow-up. It's all done. And they haven't even ridden the bike yet. We're going to talk this.
We're going to have you do this all over again.
Okay. Now they go for the ride. I've only asked them 3 questions, and all they're doing is they're just getting a taste like the M&M. They're just trying the bike for the. Remember, let's backtrack. First time in the store. How'd you hear about us? You ever ride a Pedego before? You haven't? Oh my God. Just for fun, come with me. Get excited. Highest energy wins. Just for fun, come with me. I'm not riding, they might say. No sweat. I'm not asking you to ride. I'm going first. And then I go ride the bike, and I go there and back, 20, 30 yards. So even if you get the, I'm not riding, right? I'm not going to ride today. And by the time I get back and I've got the magic e-bike smile on my face and I stop the bike, and I say, all I want you to do is do exactly what I just did, 20 yards. Like when I have somebody say to me, oh, I don't have the time to ride today, but they're going to hang, Kyle, you heard that before? I don't have time to ride today, but they're in the store for 2 freaking hours asking you a million questions. Right?
Absolutely.
Happens all the time, yeah.
So butts on bikes is the key. So the goal of that is if I go first and I say monkey see, monkey do, if you can't go 20 to 30 yards in a straight line, turn around and come back, 10 seconds. So you'll have time to do it. If I get them to experience the Pedego, I'm going to sell, but my probability of sale has literally, let alone from 33, if I get to 66, I'm doubling my number. So does that make sense, guys? First time,
That's gold.
right? It's huge. It's absolutely huge, and you have to get excited about it, right? This is an opportunity because we know what happens when somebody rides a bike and we see them turn around on their way back. The first time with the Pedego is this. Oh my God, this is so awesome. Now, in my experience, 1 out of 10 will actually buy after the mini spin, right? So 10 out of 100. 90 out of 100 will be ixnay on the eBay. They're not going to buy, right? They need to know a little bit more. They want to know about me. They want to look. So, and that's what we're going to cover. But I will still ask for the sale if I see that they're stoked after the mini spin. So I acknowledge, ask 3 questions. I go first. I come back after setting the bike up correctly, and then I get them on it. I stand in front of the bike. I get their information on a digital test ride waiver. Of course, I'm a big fan of lead cycles, which we'll talk about the next call, because that's where the numbers prove it. You got to do follow-up. That's the critical component. They go, they come back. If they love it, and I go, so Kyle, what do you think? Oh, this is awesome. Great. You want to take it? Now, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, well, how much is this thing? That's okay. 1 out of 10 are going to go, hell yeah, let's just do this. Price isn't.
Apologies. Sorry. I apologize.
So,
Did I lose?
9 out of 10, I'm going to finish up with this. 9 out of 10, they're going to go, well, I don't know, how much is this thing? And you'll say, well, this was $39.95. And they'll go, how much? And then you have to ask questions, and I'm going to send you the template. Who's the bike for? Who else is going to use it? Well, it's primarily for me, but my wife might use it. So now you have to have a bike that is adjustable, maybe one with an adjustable handlebar stem, right? We'll get into the intricacies in a sec. So how are you going to use it? I'm using it to go to work. Okay, you're commuting. Then if you have time, you can start jumping into some of those questions of, where do you work? How long have you been working there? What do you do there? But I'm going to minimize. Hey, UPS person, thank you.
Yeah, go Brown.
And so we'll go through all the questions to be able to build rapport and then get them on what I call an extended real test ride on an appropriate bike. But the 3 bikes that I recommend, and again, take my information like spare ribs, keep the meat, throw away the bone. The 3 bikes that I recommend are, I'm a big believer in starting off with the best bike. So either a Platinum Interceptor, step through, regardless of male or female, step through all 3 bikes. Just for what I call the mini spin. Platinum Interceptor or Black Edition City Commuter. Or I guess now it's the City Commuter Platinum Edition. It's black, right?
Yes.
So, because they've changed the name on that. So I would do either or. So that would be a larger 28-inch-ish bike. Then I would do a Boomerang. I think the Boomerang is actually the go-to bike for almost everybody. It'll fit absolutely everybody. It's a low barrier to entry. It's a walk-through, not a step-through. 9 inches off the ground. You've got the adjustable handlebar stem. Everybody fits it for the most part. You're good from about 5'6" to about 6'2". After that, you got to go into the bigger bike that I just mentioned. And the last one would be the Mini Scepter, which is a 24-inch Interceptor. So those would be the 3 bikes that I would have by the front door, batteries in the bike already at the ready, because again, butts on bikes. First 3 questions, you go first, you set up the bike, downshift, you come back, test ride waiver, then they get to go because you've got their follow-up information, and then they come back and then you can ask for the sale. And by the way, when your products of this price category, Jerry, I'm curious if you know the statistic. On products that are $1,000 and over, how many times do you have to ask for the sale before you actually get a yes? There's no wrong answer. It's just, I've heard this.
3 or 4.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah, so you're right. You're right there. But I mean, so we have to also build up some resilience to. We're going to hear no, but no just means no for now, and that's not being salesy. It's opportunities, and again, the great thing about a Pedego is they come back from any ride, and you go, so what do you think? And who isn't going to say this was awesome, right? So it's like, great. Do you want to take it? And they'll say yes or no. That's okay. If they say no, get them on another bike, and I'll show you guys how to do that next call. All right.
Perfect.
Hey,
Awesome.
you know, do you have I thought that your transition and your presentation was really good. And with the, oh my gosh, I got to get you out there on the, you don't have any sort of a script on that, do you?
Yes, I do. I'm sending it to you after this call.
Perfect, because we'll practice that as a team.
Yeah, I'm going to send you what I call the Pedego Army of One sales template. So you'll have that after this call. All the recording has been processed. I'll send it over to you. You'll get that. You'll get the DM tracker, and then you'll get photos of these as well. So you'll get that later this morning.
Thank you. And from me, you'll expect an email, okay, for you just to read.
Sounds great, guys. Okay. See you in 7 days.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it.
Right?